Hello everyone, welcome to this segment of the day. Please subscribe to this channel if you've not and turn on the notification button as well. In this channel, I bring the news to you, how it happened, the importance and implication with regards to politics, economy, education, social and cultural perspectives, amongst the rest or the others. So we're going to be looking at the first day of Joe Biden, the new president of the United States of America, in office. So in this day, he signed a lot of executive orders, about 17 of them, and of course continued the second day as against what the former President Donald Trump put in place. So those 17 orders reversed about 17 executive orders signed by Donald Trump, the former president. So in those orders, like in the administration of Donald Trump, he made mention of the fact that all his policies centers on America first, before any other nation. So if you are a student of international relations, you will understand what this means. Just like in Nigeria, for instance, that is one of the reasons why Nigeria is never better till today. And we won't get better until that policy is worked on. Because that policy was formulated as a result of the fact that, I will tell you about the policy, of course. It was formulated as a result of the fact that Africa was facing a lot of racial discrimination and colonialism from the West. So in this regard, Nigeria made Africa the centerpiece of her foreign policy. And I can tell you till today, Africa still remains, since the time of Nigerian independence in 1960 till today, that's as at 1st October 1960 till today, Africa was still, go and research about it, maybe if you are in doubt. Africa was and is still the centerpiece of Nigerian foreign policy. And that is one of the reasons why Nigeria can get better. Sometimes most of us will think that some of the things we are facing and fighting, the problems Nigerians are facing, are within the country. It's not. If you look at many successful nations today, they are certainly locking up their boundaries with a lot of regulations on whatever they will allow in and out of their country. So imagine Ghana of yesterday getting better. It is one of the reasons why Ghana is getting better. So let's forget about Africa and get back to the topic we are discussing, which is the reversal of Trump's policies. But anyways, my point here is Trump can as well have those policies on ground and still maintain America first before any other people, because it doesn't necessarily mean that any government in America must recognize or restrict everything to America or to Americans' concerns, as a result. So, like what Trump did under his government, when he said America first, he wants to limit everything within America. So no nation is an island, and every nation must definitely consider the relationship between the world and the rest of the countries, and of course the international organizations. So my point here is, in some moves that Trump made, some of them seems autocratic if you look into it properly. So, like I said, American politics remains American politics, and it's left for Americans to play their politics. But when it concerns the world, whoever that is piloting the affairs of Americans ought to put a lot of things into consideration before making decisions. So some of the reversals of these policies by Joe Biden is good to some extent, but it is wrong to say absolute business as usual, because that is what the body language is. That is by the way. Let's look at those or some of, if time is there, because I'm trying to make the video very short. If time is there, we look at the 17 executive orders. Before Joe Biden started signing those orders, this is the statement he made: there is no time to waste. There are just all starting points. This is the comment from Joe Biden, who is the current president of United States of America. So among those orders he signed is, one executive order on mandatory face masks, which means if you want to, just like here in Germany where I am, for you to access any public offices, supermarkets, and the rest of them, or even privately owned institution or firms, you have to put on your mask. So it's a global policy, just like the World Health Organization prescribes. So it is left for governments of every nation to document it. So it's not a new thing, but it's part of what Joe Biden signed, which is a good development for Americans, maybe who differs from this view. Because as far as I know, COVID is politicized, but it's also real. It's wrong for someone to say that it doesn't exist. But the politics in it is more than the COVID itself. Of course, during the weekend, I will post a video about the COVID-19. Stay tuned so that you see some of the revelations I will make about it. So the second one is about the rejoining of WHO. That is the second executive order. You remember that Donald Trump pulled America out of WHO due to the suspected illegalities going on within the system, as accused or stated by Donald Trump. So, but my point is here, why I said Joe Biden might be right, Donald Trump might be right, but where Donald Trump is a bit wrong is that you cannot fight a common enemy from outside the house, because common enemy lives within. And there's no how you will know what common enemy is doing or what is going on in the minds of common enemy if you should start fighting common enemy from, afar. So you must fight a common enemy within. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. I would like us to, engage ourselves, our reasoning and our ideas on live sessions, because I do like, reasonable people to be in place to chip in what they have in place. So it is my will, if you should subscribe as much as you can and make this channel a global community where we will all discuss a lot. So the third executive order is on COVID-19. So this order itself is a kind of to buttress speedy distribution of vaccines and medical equipment. So, and of course, to respond to the President Joe Biden and the management efforts, of course, directly in this regard. So the fourth order is on national moratorium. So this is going to last at least March 31st before the government of Joe Biden will decide on the way forward. So the fifth order is on student loan or loans, depending on whichever perspective you are seeing it, because it's not all students that subscribe to loans. So the sixth order is on Paris Climate Accord. So it reversed the position of Trump as well. So, but this I cannot say much on it because it depends on the leader. It depends on the leader holistically, who is in charge of the affairs of United States citizens. Because for us who are behind the bars, every concern of U.S. citizens and their politics is their affairs. I must admit to this, and you must admit to this because it really doesn't concern another or the outsiders what their will or what the wills of the others within their country should be as far as the Westphalia Treaty is concerned. So that is it on that. If they wish to rejoin the climate change or climate accord organization, Paris Climate Accord organization and all that, to continue the American support to the world on climate change issues. But we must also agree on this fact that climate change issues is not really as it is globally publicized. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Actually, it does. But it necessarily not up to 100% of what is publicized or how it is publicized to make everyone on living on this world as conscious as we are about climate change. So it doesn't also, despite the fact that we need to maintain the environments where we are and also see to the stability of the environment where we are. But my point is, it is not absolute as it is publicized, because a lot of this put a lot of fears in us as people and inhabitants of this world. So the seventh order is on Keystone SL pipeline. You remember under Trump, some exclusiveness or exclusive policies was made for this particular Keystone SL pipeline. So it reversed 100 Trump's actions on the environment. So the number 8 is an executive order on Russian equipment. That is, this order particularly ensures Russian equity in a just formal statement. So it ensures Russia equity. The 9th order is on gender equality. Of course, this particular order as well prevents workplace discriminations on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity. So the 10th executive order is on consensus. So this particular order is included in the consensus on appointment of congressional representatives, so which also reversed another Trump's policy. The next order is on immigration. So you remember on this immigration, which is also controversial, and I can tell you that Trump's administration just made a controversial, that is the previous government's administration made controversial policies. Because like I told you in this channel, we are fair to, we try as much as we can to be fair to analysis, you also have the right to differ from the analysis and, of course, state your objectives in the comment section and what you think. It is welcomed. So, disengaging children from their parents as a result of immigration-related policies is a bit weird, in this regard, because you cannot guarantee the safety of children under the auspice of government alone without the involvement of the parents. This is where it becomes a bit contradicting. So whichever way we are seeing it, but the point is that Joe Biden in this regard reversed that policy, where what's it called, the concerns of children who are American citizens and their parents who are not naturally American citizens should be asked out of the country, because their children are the ones who are American citizens and not them themselves. So, which is somehow they are undocumented people under the immigration, whereas their children are good documented. The implication is that the children are going to be left as American citizens, whereas their parents will be deported somehow. So, anyways, whichever way, but my point is there are still necessity for everyone to meet the legality of staying in America as a country. That is a fact. So, the number 12th executive order is on some passport holders. So, this, under Trump, this particular order restricted some passports from being accepted within the American soil, which means you cannot travel to America with that passport. For instance, there was, let me use the language because it has been reversed. There was a ban on Nigerians traveling to America. Likewise, a ban to some Muslim countries of the Middle East, including Tanzania of Eastern Africa, to travel into the United States. So this particular ban restricted all these countries from accessing the U.S. So it was reversed under Biden, which means the people from this area with that passport can now come into the U.S. Again, you can be from this area, but went to a different place and acquire passport, national passport from this country. You can be allowed to go in. That is the differences. But when you are having a passport as a person or foreigner from who holds national passport of that country, you cannot go into the U.S. So this particular executive order from Joe Biden reversed that policy, which means the people who are holding passports from the very 7 Muslim majority countries, including Nigeria, can as well come into the country, United States. So the 13th order is on immigration enforcement. So this expanded the immigration enforcement within the United States. So the 14th order is on border wall. You remember the border wall being built by President Trump's administration. This very border wall has a lot to do with In Trump's policy, he said, which I made mention of before, America first. So this border war has a lot it does with this policy, America first. Doesn't mean that America doesn't have relations with every other countries. It does. But the fact here is that you can no longer sneak into America through that border wall for any reason. You know, what they say, through the back door. So if you want to come into the America, what the policy states is that you must be documented. Because, for instance, no country has, or we say that we don't have overstay citizens or people in our country. There are a lot of people who go to another country and overstayed. That is, you are given 3 months visa, 1 month visa, 6 months visa, 1 year visa, remember, depending on what the perspective and the policy of the immigration of that particular country which you went to. So a lot of people overstayed their welcome, you know, in a Nigerian terminology. So a lot of people overstayed their welcome, which means they ought to have gone back to their country within the allowed days to stay in the host country. So in this regard, the border war by President Donald Trump wants to only see to the affairs of those people who came in through the legitimate way, and not those who came into the America through illegitimate way. So the executive order by Joe Biden in this regard reversed that executive order. That is, it terminated the national emergency declaration which is used to fund the building of that project. And of course, any project that lost the source of income will automatically collapse. You see the strategy. He did not just automatically said this order will no longer exist, but he terminated the source of income to which the project is funded. So which means he disengaged the source of income or the funding platform with that project. He didn't want to say, we don't want the project. So that's by the way. Let's move to the next order. So the next order is on deportation. So it extends deferrals of deportation and work authorization for Liberians, you know, with a safe haven in the United States until June 30th, 2022. So the 16th order is on ethics. So this order, you know, allows the appointees to sign an ethic pledge bearing the same or bearing them from an acting in personal interest and requesting them to uphold the independence of the Department of Justice. So the 17th order is on regulation. So this particular order directs the Office of Management and Budget, that is OMB, you know, to develop recommendations to modernize regulatory review and undergo Trump's regulatory approval process. So that is it for this particular program. That is the 17th order initially signed by Joe Biden in his first day in the office. Wow. So I think just like every other president in the world, there's always a first day action. So considering this, you know that this is absolutely business as usual. So you can drop your views drop your perspectives, drop your opinions.